And welcome into Facebook Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles of Pressbox and PressBoxOnline.com. And with me in just a moment, we're going to spend some time talking about the Maryland five-star event coming up, is world-renowned rider Buck Davidson. But first, a word about our sponsor, and that is C3 American Exteriors. All our Zooms here on Mondays and Wednesdays have been brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website at c3america.com to find out how you might be eligible to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. And as I like to say on all these Zooms, and when I talk about C3, I know one of the owners of the company. And if you are faced with a roof fix or roof repair or replacement, it's going to be an expensive proposition. And if that's the case, I'd want to know the people I'm dealing with. I'd want to like those people, and I'd want to trust those people. And I can say that C3 American Exteriors checks all those boxes. So C3 American Exteriors brings us these Zooms. Joining me now, as promised, is world-renowned equestrian rider Buck Davidson. Buck, how are you?
I'm great, Stan. Thanks for having me.
Hey, first of all, I just have to ask you, because I'm an old thoroughbred racing guy. There used to be a rider in Baltimore, around Baltimore and West Virginia, named Jesse Davidson. You're no relation to Jesse, are you?
Not that I know of. Nope.
All right. Okay, that's a good thing. Hey, as a rider, how excited are you? And we had Boyd on last week, who I'm sure you know pretty well and have competed against. How excited are you about this event? Does it filter down to the riders and the trainers that this is really the big time for Fair Hills?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you've got, the five-star level is for the top 1% of the people that do this. And, it's exciting. I live in Unionville, Pennsylvania, which is only 20 minutes down the road. And to have a venue like Fair Hill and bring the best riders in the world to my hometown, essentially, it's really, really exciting.
I'm just curious. I talked to you before we went on the air, and you confirmed that you have ridden at Fair Hills many times. But for this five-star event, they spent a lot of money, and they've done a whole new course that made them eligible to host a five-star event. What are the differences like between what's going to take place the next few days course-wise and what used to take place when they had three-star events? And have you ridden on this new five-star course yet?
I've never ridden on this new five-star course. Nobody has.
Okay.
And I'm actually the first to go. So, I think that'll be a little bit of a fact-finding mission, not only for myself, but for my fellow competitors to kind of see how it rides. But the difference between, Fair Hill this weekend and Fair Hill or other events that are held here around the country, it's like playing at your municipal golf course is the old event, and this is like playing at the Masters or the U.S. Open. I mean, the greens are faster, the rough's higher, and the course is longer. And this is the best of the best, and it's exciting.
So I'm just getting educated to this myself. I know there are three parts to it. There's the dressage, there's the cross country, which takes place, on Saturday, and then there's the show jumping. The dressage and the show jumping are the where you're going to participate and do what you do in those events. Is that any different, or are you talking about the cross country course being significantly different?
The cross country course is significantly different. The dressage is, yes, it's more difficult than the lower levels below, but
okay.
And the show jumping is a little bit more technical, but to the average person, it's probably not going to look that much different. But but when you're out on the cross country course, it's a heck of a lot different.
Now, when you explain that you'll be the first one to go, and that's kind of interesting. So you'll make history at the Maryland 5-star. You'll always be the first guy to go.
Yep.
Is it possible that you might not know exactly where to jump, or that's pretty apparent to the rider where he's got to
Oh,
jump?
yeah, no question. Yeah, you're never sure, right? It's all sort of virgin ground, and we don't know how tired the horses are going to get. We, have an idea. There's different stride patterns between each jump. Sometimes you could do 4 strides. Sometimes you could do 5. Sometimes you could do 3, and a little bit trial and error. You're allowed to walk the course as a rider. The horse is never allowed to see it. But I would walk it 3 or 4 times, try to figure out my lines. But just as you use the analogy of golf, like when you've seen other guys putt, you all of a sudden realize something breaks a little bit different than you thought. And so it sometimes can be an advantage because you don't have to worry about what everybody else has done. You just go out and do your thing. But a lot of times it's good to see what other people do as well.
Now, just so I educate myself and the people that are viewing it here. So if you come back next year and participate in the Maryland 5-star, which I'm sure you think you will,
Yeah.
will the course be laid out exactly as it will be this weekend? Or do they make subtle changes, just like hole placements on a golf course or something?
Exactly. They'll make subtle changes, but you'll still know, sometimes they reverse the track. Sometimes they do make a new loop or whatever, but generally obviously it's going to be in the same area. So, what each hill does to each horse. And we'll all have a much better idea of how to do this, at the end of this weekend.
Okay. The dressage, I'm just curious because again, I've been out to Fairhill a couple times and experienced the cross country aspect of it, but I've never really watched dressage. That's going to take 2 days the competition of dressage takes Thursday, tomorrow, and Friday.
Yes. So the dressage is judged on a 10-point scale. There's 3 judges from all around the world that give you a score from 0 to 10 on each movement. I think there's 25 or 26 movements. So that's your starting score. So they sort of, you can't win it in the dressage, but you can certainly,
You can
probably
blow it.
Yep. And so that's sort of the ballet or the figure skating of our sport. How well is the horse trained, and different movements throughout the test.
Now, I would imagine, and again, my experience has been going to racetracks since I was about 13, 14 years old. I imagine different riders are good at different things. Is dressage, is that something you are really good at, or is the cross country your specialty, or do you think you're like, hey, I'm pretty good on all 3?
Well, I think if you get to this level, you're pretty good, hopefully, at all 3. I mean, I think we were all drawn to this sport for the cross country, right?
Yeah.
You can do pure dressage, and you can do pure show jumping, but this is the only sport that has the cross country. And so, it all depends on the horse, right? Like I have some horses that are very good in the dressage, some that are very good cross country, and some that are hopefully good in the show jumping. So I have 3 rides this weekend. I'm the only one with 3. And so, I have horses that are very good. I sort of have one horse that's very good in the dressage, one that's better in the cross country, and one that's better in the show jumping. So, but that doesn't really help me.
I bet you wish you could bring those 3 together.
Exactly. Yep. If I could just use one for each phase, I'd be in good shape. But that's what's unique about the sport. And, men and women compete equally, and horses and riders. And, there's a lot of prize money here, and there's, a huge test in front of us.
The track out there is, they spent a lot of money fixing this place up. And I wanted to tell folks, by the way, that if you're interested in going, you're hearing about this, call 410 MD5 STAR, spell out STAR, or go to the website, Maryland, the number 5, the word star.us. And also, if folks are interested, it's going to be televised by Maryland Television, Maryland Public Television, and USEF Network are going to show the event in North America. Thursday, MPT will have from 1 to 4:30 live the dressage. Friday from 1 to 4:30, MPT will have live dressage. And then Saturday from 5 to 9, they will tape what took place earlier in the day, and you can watch it. And then on Sunday, the show jumping and the awards from 1 to 3:30 on Maryland Public Broadcasting. We're talking with Buck Davidson, one of the foremost riders in the country and around the world. And Buck, I'm guessing we talked to Boyd about this same topic last week. You've competed in 5 stars all around the world?
I have. Yep. I'm very lucky. I've done, I've been all around the world and most of the continents around the world. And yeah, I've been very, very fortunate.
Is it noticeably different? I mean, does the money make it a lot different for everybody involved? The competition is raised up, the stakes of it are higher?
Well, I mean, look, if we were doing this for the money, we wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
But
I got that impression from Boyd last week too.
Yeah. But to go against the best in the world, and the 5 stars are like majors in golf, or so it's what you do it for. Is that you're the 1/10 of 1% that can do this, and to have one horse to do this is fantastic. And I've been fortunate through my career to have many horses, but yeah, I mean, to have an event that is of this caliber and people coming from all around the world to compete in it, it's prestigious and exciting at the same time.
How about fitness? Is this something? How often do you ride? Again, using the comparison and contrast with thoroughbred horse racing, are you racing like 35 weekends a year, or how many events are you in, and how do you stay in shape? Because I imagine it sounds like it's a pretty grueling course of events, because you got to do 3 different events.
Yeah, exactly. I would ride, anywhere from, 5 to 15 horses on a weekend, and it would be every weekend from the beginning of the year until the end of November. So it's what I do every day, all day. And I would at home ride 10 to 15 horses every day. And it's the job, and that's we're supposed to be trained, fit, and ready to go, and to have the ability at the end of the course to help our horses when they need it. And we do this every single weekend.
Okay. Just curious, this coming to Maryland, there's no question it's a big deal. It's going to take a couple of years for it to grow, and we know it's going to, and it's going to turn into almost like a 3 or 4 day Preakness type of event. I'm just wondering, for those that are tuning in that don't have that much experience with it, that are going to say, I'm going to try this, would you recommend the cross country as the most spectacular part of the event, or do you like the subtleties of the other events equally as well, the dressage and the show jumping?
Well, as I do it more, I understand the dressage a little bit more. But I was drawn to this for the cross country. You're sort of a little bit of the speed and the exhilaration of going across the country, jumping fences and over ditches, banks, through water, things like that. Listening to your horse, paying attention to what they're telling you, is what got me into this. I actually, when I was a kid, I rode at Fair Hill over the timber jump racing.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of fairly addicted to speed from the beginning, and it it's taken me probably the dressage was the least natural to me. But if you want to be successful and you want to win, you have to get good at that, and you start to understand how the dress size helps with the cross country and the show jumping as well. So you want to get off to a good start in the dress size and get as good a score as you possibly can. And from there, you can't get a better score. All you can do is make your score worse. So, it's very important that we get a good score tomorrow and Friday.
Is the horse, I know that horses are important to this, don't get me wrong, but are there some horses that are better at one of the events than the other? I mean, you said you said that, but I
Yep.
mean, can they be trained? Could a horse truly be trained to get better at dressage, or is it the horse is going to be as good as the rider?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of 60% rider, maybe 40% horse, but a naturally very good moving horse is going to, is going to be naturally more suited to the dressage, but that doesn't mean they're going to be more suited to cross country. And a horse that can do all three phases at the highest level is unbelievably difficult to find. And quite frankly, they're not out there. So you really have to, figure out as a rider what you're best at, and then you try to get horses that fill up your weaknesses, and your strengths can then help their weaknesses. So it's a little bit of a unique sport that way.
Is it also unique in the way that, again, a jockey in a racetrack, he might once in a while get on the horse that he's going to ride at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in a big race. He might get on him in the morning to train him, but you guys have to be on these horses all the time and sort of be training them as well as getting up to speed on how to do this, right?
No question. I mean, these horses, have been with me for years. I mean, I've done their first events, and as 5-year-olds, and they're 13, 14, 15 years old now. There's a lot of longevity in this sport, in this sport, and it takes a long time to get them to understand all the aspects of it, have them strong enough to be able to do it. Just because you have a talented horse doesn't mean you can have that you're ready to go 5-star. I think there's a reason that NFL players have to go to college before they get into the NFL. You can't just go from high school to the NFL, because even if you're fast and you're strong or whatever, you're not fast, strong, and tough enough to go from high school right into the NFL. And this is no question the NFL.
So I know that I go out there a couple times over the weekend, and my big day is going to be Saturday for the cross country because I like that. But I have
Yep.
no concept where, and I felt the same way when I went to the Baltimore, had an auto race in downtown Baltimore about 6, 7 years ago.
Yep.
It's like, I know if I go to a football game or a golf event or a tennis event, I know what to watch and where I'd want to be. If I'm out there live, do you have a sense of where a good spot to watch the cross country event is?
Well, for me, it's on the back of a horse, but for the public, what's cool is you can get right up close and personal, right next to the jumps, be right in the galloping lanes, and you can nearly reach out and touch the horses, and to see the speed and the size of the fences, and so it's unique in that way. You can literally get right up close and personal.
The horses, again, I know I'm going to tire you with my comparison to thoroughbred. We know that they're bred to be thoroughbred horses. Are horses that work toward getting good in these events, are they bred for that, or are they merely trained from having come to them from somewhere else?
It's a little bit of a combination of both. Yes, they are certainly now more purpose bred. They would have a little bit more warm blood in there, but that you would hope to have 75% thoroughbred probably at this level, because the speed and the endurance is so important. But the dressage and the show jumping is also important. So, for me, if I could have a very good moving, good brain thoroughbred horse, that would be ideal.
Okay.
The sort of the old fashioned thoroughbred is more what we're looking for. It's bigger, stronger. These horses are not bred to, go, a mile and a quarter. They're bred to go, 4.5, 5 miles. And, but have the brain to, go in front of 25,000 people and, be quiet and do a nice dressage test and then be careful enough to show jump. But they also have to be brave and fast enough to go cross country. So, like I said before, you've got to be able to, the horse is purposely bred, but the rider has to, can influence the horse a lot in training.
Hey, I know you've been doing this a long time. When that cross country race is about to start on Saturday, and like you said, you'll be the first one to get out there. Will the butterflies be going because it's a 5-star event?
No question. I mean, the butterflies go every weekend. They just go up 5 times at a 5-star. Quite honestly, they probably already started, and they maybe started a month ago, or maybe even 6 months ago or a year ago. And look, these horses have been prepared and worked and trained for many, many years with the hopes of this happening. And it's a unique situation when you can have a horse that can do this. And Saturday morning it's an eerie place on Saturday morning. It's very, very quiet. Everybody's sort of walking around and, nobody's sitting still and everybody's walking in circles, but nobody says anything. And it's a complicated place. It's a eerie place, and but it's a great place. And then hopefully it all goes well on Saturday, and then there's a little bit of exhaustion that sets in on the whole.
I'll bet.
But the sense of accomplishment when you do it is amazing.
One more question from a novice about the cross country. So, like, if I'm watching skiing in the Olympics, the slalom, it's not like there's 3 guys racing down at the same time. It's you against the clock. Cross country is that way, correct? You run and do what you have to go, the jumps you have to make and all that. And your time at the end will be measured against others that do the exact same course, correct?
Yes. So they give you an optimum time, which in this case here at Fair Hill is 11 minutes. For every second you're over, you get 0.4 of a penalty. And so, like I said, you get your dressage score, and all you can do from there is get worse, or get a higher score. So I think the horses go at every 4 minutes. So you'll have 2 to 3 horses on the course at the same time,
at different various times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So there'll be a lot of action out there, but no, we're not racing against somebody right next to us.
One last thing. You explained to me that you nor anybody else, none of the riders have ridden this course. Have you walked parts of it? I mean, are you a little bit familiar with where it is? And
Yep. Yeah, no question.
You won't be late showing up. You'll know where to go.
No, God, no. I hope not. That's no. I walked it this afternoon, and I walk it at least twice, maybe 3 more times. Trying to get the exact lines that I want to go. You want to, a little bit like a race car driver, figure out how to get into the turn and get out of the turn as quick as possible, and do it without using up the tires too much.
Now, do you walk that by yourself, or do you walk it with other riders? I guess not, and compare notes. You want to take your own mental notes and just sort of make up determinations yourself.
Yes, Dan, it's a little bit of a unique sport. Like, everybody's competing against each other, but we all help each other at the same time. Yep. I have, 4 or 5 or 6 students that are riding in this competition with me and against me. So, part of my job is to try to win the event, but the other part of the job is hopefully help them try to win the event. So, we're all, out there to help each other and sort of may the best man win, but you certainly wouldn't want to beat somebody because you gave them bad information. And so it is kind of a bit of a family, but a competitive family at that.
As you walked it, and I know I'm going on longer than I said I would, because it's about 3 questions ago. I said this is my last question, but this will be. When you
All right.
walked it, was there any point that you said, wow, this is really breathtaking, or wow, this is really hard as hell? I mean, were you impressed with the course?
I was. It starts in one area and finishes basically in the same area. Somehow they figure out a way to make it uphill both ways. It is very, very demanding. The terrain is unbelievable. The jumps look fantastic. The craftsmanship and the artistry in the jumps is unbelievable. One of the water jumps, you jump over a crab, and it's amazing the things that are out here. And I think hopefully lots of people show up, and there's a lot of excitement for everybody.
All right. We really appreciate your joining us. I want to remind everybody, this is 2 straight weeks we've done our Wednesday Zoom with a world-renowned equestrian rider, because the Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill has arrived. It starts tomorrow with the dressage from 1 to 4:30. Friday, 1 to 4:30 is live dressage. Saturday, the cross country, I think, is 1 to 4, I think it is, or 1 to 4:30. And then on Sunday, 1 to 3:30 is the show jumping and awards out there. I urge everybody in our viewing audience to give it a shot one day this week. I don't think you'll regret it, and you may just get hooked, because this is going to end up being 5 years from now. It'll be almost unrecognizable, the size of this event, from what's taking place right now. Do you agree, Buck?
Yep, that's the hope, and they've done absolutely unbelievable job here, and I think it's going to be great for Maryland, great for Cecil County, and great for the equestrian world as a whole. So they've done an unbelievable job. It should get bigger and better every year.
All right. Last reminder, if you're interested, call 410-MD5 STAR, spell out STAR on your phone, or go to their website at the word Maryland, the number 5, the word star.us, Maryland5star.us. And again, I want to remind everybody that Maryland Public Television will have the entire event over the weekend. Tomorrow from 1 to 4:30 live on MPT, the dressage. Friday, 1 to 4:30 live dressage. Saturday, it will be taped from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can watch the cross country event from earlier in the day. And then Sunday, the finale, the show jumping and awards from 1 to 3:30. Our guest has been Buck Davidson, world-renowned rider. And Buck, good luck in the event. And I thank you for taking some time with us here tonight.
No problem. Thank you, Stan.
All right. And we remind you before we leave that this program, as each and every one of our Zooms, is brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website at c3america.com to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. That's it from here. We'll see you Monday night. I'll be on with Ross Grimsley, former Orioles GM, former Red Sox GM, former Montreal Expos GM. Dan Duquette will join us. For Buck Davidson, I'm Stan the Fan Charles, and we'll see you down the road.